And we're on Facebook. The little spinning ball of doom takes so long, but we're back. Episode 4 of Spring into Action. This is my 5-part series to motivate real estate agents to better understand the market and to get you going into spring, because we know that spring is hunting season for agents. It is the time when you move. It sets you up for next year. And so it's so important. And because it is so important, I have brought in the number one social media real estate agent in the country, Lisa Novak. She'll join us right after this intro. Lisa Novak, welcome to Spring into Action. How are you today?
I'm great. What an intro, Jonathan.
Did you enjoy that?
Loved it. I was having a little boogie along to that music.
Yeah, it was almost like a Tonight Show. I think I'm a lost talent. I should have my own Tonight Show, maybe.
Yeah. Well, hook me up if you do.
Oh, you'd be a guest. I'd have you in as a guest for sure. You're great fun. As some people may know, we've done a lot of live streams together in the past, and I really enjoy speaking to you because you're such a free thinker. You're not constrained by traditions and rules and all that sort of stuff. You're all about action and getting going. And so when I was sitting here a couple of weeks ago thinking, what is it with this funk that's across the industry at the moment? How can I help get people over it? How can I break it down? And how can I do that at scale? I thought, you know what? Why don't I just host a 5-episode series speaking to the people who I find the most motivating in the real estate space? And you were number one choice off the rank. No offense to anyone else, but I just thought Lisa and I have so much fun and we get such a good reaction from people who then take your advice and move with it. So that's why you're here.
Wow. We better make it really worthwhile then, hey? But likewise, I love speaking with you. You know, I really do. And you know, look, just everything that you do. I'm a massive, massive fan. So thank you. It's a privilege. It's a great privilege to be on here.
Thank you. Did you notice in your super down there, you've got a little crown?
I know. I think I need a little crown that, you know, I don't know. I'll tell you something. I went to a great conference last week, and for anyone that's actually nervous about doing any sort of public speaking or doing this, right, getting on a camera, they had these girls there from NIDA, and they were saying the one thing that you should do, apparently this is Kate Winslet's secret, is that you actually put on a fake crown on your head, and it makes you stand nice and tall, but it makes you feel great. So there's a good little tip.
That is a good tip about keeping your head still, because a lot of people let their eyes wander and they're a bit shy. They'll look down. It's all about getting that T across your chest. As a former journalist, I've been media trained within an inch and almost probably too far. Like if I look at journalists on TV at the moment, they're not really connecting as humans. And so it's about getting that training that gets you nice and clear and communicating in a way that's comfortable, but then winding it back a little bit to have that human connection. And I think you do that really well on socials. I was speaking to someone today about how you always do you've got the camera right in front of you, you're inviting the viewer into your environment, and you're not being a real estate agent, but you're driving a massive real estate business off the back of it.
You know, look, people will respect that authenticity. They really will. And it's really important that you are just yourself. You know, forget about all those filters, and you don't need scripts. You know, we're real estate agents talking about real estate, and we do this all day, every day. You know, people can do it on the phone, or they can sit opposite someone or be in someone's home, Jonathan, talking about property. But the minute you put a camera up to someone, all of a sudden they just sort of turn into a bit of a mute. They're like, no. You know, we have so much to tell and so much to give. Just be yourself. Do what you do all day, every day, and don't worry about that camera.
Yeah, I think that is probably one of the biggest challenges of the whole social media space is how do you get people to be the same on camera as they are in the lounge room doing an appraisal? And that, you know, the moment you can start closing that gap and still remain dynamic, you're going to see massive returns, and you're a great example of it.
Yeah, and I think, look, I could never understand it, actually. I don't know why. Like, it never overly bothered me, the whole camera thing. I was like, oh, it's not really about me. This is about them. This is about the clients and their needs and the people of the community. So it never really bothered me, and I never got it. And then one day I was like, I think people are really genuinely worried about being judged and what other people are going to think of them. It's a tricky one. I don't know how you just say, like, just get over it, because it's not that easy. But just do your best, and if you can't do the lives, don't do the lives. Just do a pre-recorded video. But the worst thing that you can do, I think, Jonathan, is just look at that video over and over again. It's like, have you ever taken a selfie or had a photo taken of yourself? If you sat there and looked at that photo nonstop endlessly, you'd be so critical of yourself.
Yeah. And it gets you nowhere.
It gets you nowhere. There's a great commercial, actually, that Dove commercial. If no one's ever seen it, that is a wonderful, wonderful example. I love that commercial.
I play that in my training, Dove sketches.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah. I think I played it to you and you had a little tear.
Maybe. It's possible. Yeah, there you go. Right. Just being human. Just being human. But that is a great example of how we portray ourselves and how critical we are, and then how other people portray us and the beauty that came out of that commercial. People would sit there and go, oh, but my hair, and I'm too fat, and the way I talk, but other people portrayed something completely different. Yeah. And that is the reality, right? If I was to look back, Jonathan, seriously, over some of my videos, I'd be like, oh my God, I sound awful. What was I thinking? Look at my hair, but the people vote. And that's what matters at the end of the day.
There is a line that I use, and it is all about being human, but if you're waiting to lose those kilos, if you're waiting to get that tan, if you're waiting for a haircut, if you're waiting for all those things, I can tell you that there are always going to be fatter, uglier, less haircut driven, less polished people out there doing it and making money, like
100%.
Doing business, always.
Yeah.
So you might as well just start. And that's why I say at the start of this intro, don't think, just do. And that's what it's all about here at the Spring Into Action series, is how do you get them up and about? And how do you get them doing it? And I think social media is a great place to start. If you've already got your systems in place, and we know that some pockets of the market have slowed a little bit, or the market's slowed, prices haven't fallen as far as some people are predicting, but transactions are taking longer to get across the line. I think we're hearing that from a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you fill up that funnel? How do you compensate for that? And I think social media is a great place that so many real estate agents don't take advantage of. Real estate is such a loved topic. Look at all the TV shows around the world that are about real estate. Like, it's crazy.
Isn't that the truth? Not only that, but we speak a language, Jonathan, that most people don't understand. I was actually just training one of our guys now, and I heard him speaking to someone about a 5-day cooling off period, and I said, don't assume people know what that is. A lot of this is internal jargon, and you've got to remember, most people will only transact property maybe once or twice in their life. So they don't know what a Section 66W is. They don't know what a cooling off period is. They don't know that you can exchange on a property with a 0.25% deposit. We've got to tell people this stuff. And if you're having a really quiet time at the moment in your real estate career, and you just want to do something on social media, but you're not sure what, write down the 5 things that you talk about as a real estate agent all day, every day, because I can guarantee you the general public would be thrilled to receive that kind of information.
I think that's right. I think they think too hard about it. They think about what's going to be the perfect video. They're worried about whether other agents are going to judge them. You've definitely been there. And I think the advice that you've just given is excellent. If you're not sure what videos to make, just sit in your office with your colleagues and listen to the phone calls they're having and the problems that they're solving on those phone calls, and make content about it. Because if one person's taken the effort to actually ring your agency with a question about something they don't know about, there's going to be 100 others out there with exactly the same problem needing to fill the same information bank. And so if you start making that content, it'll resonate.
Well, I couldn't agree more, but also, guys, hone in on the stuff that is the hot topics at the moment. Yesterday we were so fortunate, Jonathan, to have the general manager of CBA Private Banking talking interest rates. right? Isn't that what every single person is talking about at the moment?
Yeah.
So, and maybe not everybody out there is able to get the, Robin Saranen of CBA Private Banking on their social media, but you certainly can talk about interest rates. You'd be shocked how many people don't even know why they're going up. Break it down for people, and copy content. No one said that you can't take the content of you or me or any other real estate agent or person that you follow and actually just put your own spin on that content.
Yeah, I think it's really important. There's a strategy that we used to use in the PR game, and it's yes and this is what it is. It's yes and or no because, and that is where you look into the zeitgeist of the world. What are the conversations that are happening in society around your industry? In real estate, there's just so many conversations. There's housing affordability, there's interest rates, there's rental shortages, rental rises, the Greens recently saying rents should be frozen.
Yes.
So many issues, right? And so what you do is you take those articles and you decide whether, do you agree with it? Yes, because this is why I agree it's a good idea. And then you add your spin to that. Or you say, you know what, I think that's a bad idea. No, this is a bad idea, and these are the reasons why I think that's a bad idea. Now, you can apply those two steps to any issue in the market and put your own spin on it and create content. And it's so easy because all you do is you just read an article that's already prepared. The research is already done. If it's a good outlet, the experts are already in there. And you can agree and disagree with the experts as you see fit, because your value, your knowledge is valuable. Like if you've done 5 years, 10, 15 years of real estate, you've got information in there that is so niched and super sensitive and at a heightened level. As you said, most people only transact 2 times in their life. In 15 years, how many transactions have you done? Like, it inside.
Absolutely. You'd be shocked how many people. I mean, I did a social media video last week. I'm going to teach you how to buy a property in just 60 seconds. And keep it short and sharp as well. No one has got, I've said this to you before. We've had a little debate over this where I've said people don't really have much of an attention span on social media. And you're like, well, but if they're sitting and watching a movie, they'll sit and watch that for 3 hours if it's something that they really enjoy doing. Actually, that really resonated with me. But I don't think anyone wants to sit and listen to anybody talk about how to buy a property in 3 hours. So short, sharp stuff. Give people little golden nuggets consistently on your social media, and there is no doubt people are actually going to be so grateful for the knowledge. They really will. But take stuff that's going on at the moment. Look at this property market, and there's never-ending stuff to talk about in the real estate market. The property market's come off, right? But the rental market's come up. So there's a great topic to talk about. Have we hit the bottom of the market, and have a discussion about it? It's your opinion. Give it to people. It's valid and it's super important.
Yeah, I think you raise a really important point. Particularly if you're nervous on camera, start short. Just get it done. Just start shorter. The difference of opinion that you and I have around the length of the content, I think really is focused on the expectations of the viewer. Are you speaking to them in an environment where they're busy and they've only got a short amount of time and they're just flicking through while they wait for an appointment or wait for a phone call, or they're having a coffee and they just want a short, sharp hit? There's definitely social media platforms that cater for that. But then you look at a program like this, this will be a half an hour episode, and people will know there's an awareness ahead of clicking onto this. It's going to go for 30 minutes, and so they watch it when they're ready to settle down and consume for 30 minutes. Now, if they don't stay for that 30 minutes, then that's on me, because I haven't created enough interest to justify the brain investing the time to watch. But at least I think with someone like you, that loop's going to stay open, and we're going to drag people through for a lot longer in the terms of minutes. But I'm just trying to deliver value, and if I do that in 10 minutes or half an hour, that's important. And you're talking about doing it in 30 seconds to a minute, 2 minutes. The key is to avoid the waffle, which I think I'm waffling a little bit now, but
it definitely it is. The key is to avoid the waffle. And also, guys, don't start on something tricky. Like, I'll be honest, I find TikTok really hard. That's not the kind of content that I make. I'm sure there's agents out there that do a great job on TikTok, but that's not my tribe. And, I give it a go, but I'm not great on it. So find something that actually does resonate with you. For me, I love Instagram and I love Facebook and I love LinkedIn. And they're kind to me. I put in great content that gets voted by the people. I was, interesting fun fact, I was selling a property yesterday. I was doing an open home at an out of area here in Sydney called Cremorne. It's about a half an hour away from where I ordinarily sell property. I got called to sell a listing there, and a buyer walked in and she goes, I've never seen you around here before. I said, no, I'm a Northern Beaches agent. She goes, oh, it's really weird because you've been popping up on my Facebook and I don't know how. Right? But in the next mouthful, she said to me, actually, I am looking at buying something on the Northern Beaches as well. Okay, so I'm coming through on her social media, which is a great thing, and that's what you want. But find something there that resonates with you. And if it's not TikTok, don't do it. Just because everyone else is doing it doesn't mean you have to do it. Find something that you feel comfortable doing.
Can I explain to you how the ladies come through to you?
Tell me.
So this is what happens, right? You're a great example. For the stuff that I teach, you're the poster child, no doubt about it. So you own the territory of the Northern Beaches. So essentially, you're the only agent that most people will hear from on social media in the Northern Beaches, because your edge rank, the algorithm at the back of Facebook, your edge rank is so sharp, almost like SEO, where if there's someone talking about real estate and the Northern Beaches, you lead the pack. So you're at the front of the queue. So that's what they get served. All right. And now what's happening is that and that's a filter bubble. So you think of the Northern Beaches as a bubble of people with certain data sets that interact with what you do. And then Facebook's gone, okay, well, we've reached all the people in that data set now. Now we're going to find people who are nearby in another bubble with similar data. And so your content starts getting served to them. What's also happened is that this woman who's thinking about moving to the Northern Beaches has been sitting somewhere having a coffee with a friend talking about moving to the Northern Beaches, and the Facebook Messenger app listens and reads her messages. So they've gone, hold on a minute, here's someone with a matching data set to the type of content that Lisa makes, so it resonates, and she's talking now about Lisa's geographic premium profile, so we're going to serve it to her and see if she's interested. And she's watching the content. So all you have to do is just keep going. This is the amazing thing about where you're at. All you have to do is just keep going, and other agents in your area won't be able to catch you. They won't even be able to outspend you. So I try and this is the thing that frustrates me with a lot of agents. If you're struggling to get leads and volume and referrals in your patch, and you're not making social media content is the answer, and Lisa is proof that it works.
Yeah, look, and the thing is, Jonathan, I think a lot of people in the industry, when I started doing the whole social media thing 4 years ago, I think people thought I was kind of crazy, but I saw something that maybe a lot of other people didn't see. And now we fast forward 4 years and it has been absolutely phenomenal, not just to me and our business, but to the clients, to the vendors and to the buyers. And again, I have to always just keep pulling it back to, you've got to listen to what they want, right? And take the focus off yourself. Because if you listen to the buyers, or my tribe, as I call them now on my social media, these guys love the fact that they get to see and have the option to buy property before it even hits the major real estate portals, right? So you're already winning hearts. Now, the other thing is, and what I didn't anticipate when I started doing all of this, was that how much of an appraisal generator it was going to be. So all of a sudden, guys, it got hard to get stock, right? All listings are down right across the board. I'm sure that's happening in Victoria as well. Yep. But 95% of my appraisals are generated now off my socials, like 95%. you know, they're incredible statistics. And I never in my wildest dreams envisaged it. I literally just had 2 minutes before I came on air with you, I had a lady call me from North Rocks. And I actually said to her, I'm sorry, I don't know where that is. She laughed and she said, it's about an hour away from you. She said, do you know any other agents that are selling property on their social media the way you are? Because that's what I'm looking for.
Wow. So the market's come to you.
Right there, listing right there. You know, if I said to her, look, I'm happy to, you know, sell out in North Rocks, which I just can't, it's too far, I'm confident that I would have been able to sign her almost immediately.
Yeah, wow. I remember
You know,
asking you a couple of weeks ago and you'd made a video and that video had attracted you an incredible amount of appraisals. I think it was a Thursday. You put the video out on a Thursday morning and I think you said 24 hours later you'd attracted how many appraisals?
it was something ridiculous. It was 20 or 30 odd appraisals.
I think it was 24 appraisals.
Yeah.
And you had to, and it's like, well, how do you even deal with that as an agent? I mean, I know I'm dealing with agents that are happy to get 24 appraisals a year.
Yeah. So how do you deal with it? First of all, you've got to have a good team structure. That's number one. You know, this is not all me. Look, I do all my socials myself. I don't outsource that part of it. But of course, the admin side of it, I have to. I have the same amount of hours in the day as every other person. But you know, a lot of those were desktop appraisals. Yeah. And some of those were face to face. You just schedule it in, right? You just get it done. But I've got great systems and processes in place.
Yeah, and you've got Mark behind you, who's a great mind as well. Let's, I think sometimes the media focus is on you, Lisa, because you're so dynamic. But you know, Mark is equally brilliant in what he does, and I think he deserves a bit of a shout out here. I don't want him to comment on this video though, because he commented on my live stream yesterday with Andy Reid, and the moment his comment dropped, I lost my audio. So there's something about him. It's like he controls the live stream airways, and he was having a little bit of a joke with us. But let's dive into that.
He does an enormous amount of social media as well. I mean, listen, if anyone's looking for content, tune into our Facebook Lives every morning at 7:45 a.m. You could literally time your watch by it.
Yeah, no, and the setup's amazing. Just a phone in the car. Logged into a live stream platform and away he goes. It's just fascinating how you've become that media company. But I want to get back to those 24 appraisals. So if you've got agents there, and that's the biggest thing, you've got to put volume in the top of the funnel now. You've got to put more in there to compensate for what's disappeared. The market's no longer driving the action. Real estate agents have to stop being farmers and start being more like hunters and go out there and get their stock and bring it in. Social media is a great way to do it. You're proving that. Yeah. 24 appraisals. How do you split them up? How are the ones that you just sort of look at and say, I can give you a value over the phone? As you said, desktop. Look at the size of the land. Maybe the house is going to get demolished. Renovators, you know, just knock it over and rebuild type stuff. And then how do you then choose the ones that get you actually in the room for a meeting?
So just finding out exactly how motivated. A lot of people are just looking for a price update. You know, they just want to know what's the price of their property looking like in this current market, and just really understanding how motivated they are. Again, there's only so much of me to go around. So there's ways that you can do an appraisal very, very quickly. CoreLogic RP Data actually have got an application where you can generate a price update very quickly. You can literally do it within about 10 seconds. So I do offer, and this is how I serviced quite a lot of these people, a 3-minute SMS appraisal. Yeah. Right. And this is great for anyone. Put it all over your marketing, guys. Put it at the bottom of your signatures, you know, and put it all over your deal flyers, put it on your signboards and get it right across all of your social media. But I will literally be able to do it in 3 minutes for them. I could do it in less, but 3 minutes is what I choose.
It's also a great way to actually start a conversation, isn't it? As you said, you've got to work out which ones are ready to pull the trigger, which ones actually want to move and take action and have a transaction, and the others that are sort of thinking about it. And if you treat them right now, maybe in 18 months to 2 years, their circumstances change and they do want to sell, and they're going to remember the agent who helped them out.
Absolutely. And look, it's probably, look, they're relatively accurate. Sometimes the data's a little bit skewy, particularly we've just seen the market come off a roaring hot market and cool quite quickly. So that data, that lag time of that data can be a little bit slow. But often I'll look at it, and if it seems like it's really not right, then obviously I'm going to readjust. But right off the back of that, Jonathan, if it's a curbside appraiser or a sight unseen, I will simply just shoot them straight off a text message just saying, please note this is sight unseen. For a more accurate proposal, I would be required to just quickly walk through your property, and this would take approximately 5 minutes. Make it easy for people. Everyone's time poor these days. You don't want an agent in your house talking about things for half an hour, particularly if you're interviewing 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, can you imagine being a vendor sitting at your kitchen table and you've got 4 agents back to back to back to back? I'm with my local knowledge, experience, and my friendly team.
Exactly. And just on that, and I know we're sort of just getting a little bit off kilter, but that's okay. I actually went to an appraisal a couple of weeks ago, and I walked in with my beautiful, black leather folder, and we do great proposals. And I said to the couple, they're actually getting divorced, and it was a really, really bitter divorce. And I looked over and I saw on the dining room buffet that there were 8 proposals sitting there. And I said to them, are they all from real estate agents? And they said, yes, they are. And I said, and I closed my proposal and I said, you know what? You don't need another real estate agent. You actually need someone who is going to ask you what it is that you need. Because if you haven't been able to choose from those 8 agents, something's really missing.
Yeah, wow.
And sometimes we forget to ask that question. We walk in, we badge up, we're like, I've won this award and I'm number 1 in the area. And
you got your script in your head. You got the script in your head. Yeah. Yeah, and how did you go on that appraisal, can I ask?
I signed it and sold it.
Because you're a human.
Signed it and sold it. But stop to actually ask them what it is that they need. Clearly something was missing.
Yeah. Wow, just amazing observance skills and feeling the room and just feeling the mood. And it just comes back to being human, Lisa. And I think that's the best thing about your social media is that it's not over-polished. It's not over-produced. It's not made to look like an ad. You do have some of those videos in your mix, and that's fine. That's I think that's a real branding, positioning advantage for you. But let's get into the videos you make every day. You make what, 6 or 7 a day posts, I reckon?
Yeah, I reckon I do. Now I spend about 3 to 5 hours a day doing my social media. That's uploading content, filming stuff, answering inquiries, everything. But if you're starting out, Jonathan, I mean, most people would be like, but you don't need to do that. You just need to do 10 or 15 minutes a day.
Yeah. Yeah. But you say, doing my social media. But actually what you're doing really is you're doing business. That's how business. You do business. You just do business differently to how someone who's been around for 30 years would teach you how they did business. Now, I'm tipping at some stage along the line that doing appraisals or meetings over the phone was odd.
Yeah.
And so doing social media, connecting with people over social media to sell houses is odd.
But that's exactly what it is, right? There's the word right there. It's called connecting. That's exactly what it is. So choose what your weapon of choice is going to be, and that's probably they're probably a bad choice of words, but you get what I mean. Mm-hmm. Is it going to be door knocking? Is it going to be social media? Mm-hmm. Is it going to be making your calls and prospecting that way? Is it going to be dropping into DLs into people's letterboxes? Mm-hmm. And FYI, I do all of that as well. It's just, I enjoy the social media, and find something, don't forget that. Find something that you feel passionately about, because then you're going to do it.
Yeah, find the tool that best suits your skills and squeeze the juice out of that as much as you can. I think people are waiting for everything to be perfect. Yeah, they're waiting for too long, or they're trying to do too little of everything. So you're doing so much just surface level activity across all the many tools. I mean, every week there's a new software or technology based tool or strategy or method that comes out that, the shiny magpie syndrome gets into it and people jump on it and then they sort of forget about doing the other stuff properly. So I think you're really right there. Pick what suits you best and go deep. Don't
Absolutely.
just
You know,
promote them.
100%. And it's not to say that I don't do a lot of the other stuff. I do. I mean, I love signboards but I'll put things that are interactive on there. If a property's sold, I'll actually wrap it with a story about how it happened and make sure you're not talking in a language that no one else understands. Often the industry will say, 57 contracts went out and we had 30 groups come through. If I was a surgeon, Jonathan, and I said to you, so I performed 500 operations in the last 12 months, do you know, is that good or bad?
Yeah, I have no idea.
No idea.
How many survived would be my next question.
Right? So make sure that you're talking in jargon that people understand. A lot of the stuff that we do is just simply industry related. But again, DL drops and so many other things I do, direct mail outs. But again, social media is the thing I put so much time and effort into.
And it is a communications issue. Journalists do this on TV. They speak what I call journalese. They'll stand there with the microphone and they'll be at the crime scene and they'll say, the offender decamped in a southerly direction. And I'm sort of sitting at home saying, sorry, what did they do? And then when you decipher it, the bad guy ran towards the train station. That makes sense. Right. Yeah, it's the way that people can paint pictures in their heads. Like I had a real estate agent come up to me the other day and he was a bit sort of puffy-chested and he wanted to challenge what I was teaching as maybe, not for him or whatever. And I think he said something like he was a, I don't know, million something GCI. And I was like, all right, what does that mean? Like, I've heard the term GCI, but I don't actually really know what it means other than maybe it's his commission income or something. I don't know, but it was like...
That's exactly what it is. It's gross commission income. So this is, and again, we're off kilter here, but this is something that really irks me about our industry. I remember getting interviewed for the first time by Tom Panos, and he was like, so, what sort of commission are you, what sort of commission are you writing? And I was doing really well. I hit the ground running. And I was like, wow, that's an unusual question. I said, is that something that you usually ask people, how much money they're earning? And he goes, oh, that's just industry-wide. And I was like, again, imagine if you were at a convention full of surgeons and they got up on a stage and said, well, I earned $3 million this year, and everyone applauded. Like, it's just so bizarre. And that should not be that should not be the measure of success. That should not be the measure of success.
How many happy transactions did you have for this year? Let's start that. Let's start that index.
How many people did you help?
Yeah, how many people did you help? Let's have that as an index on your resume for every 12 months.
Well,
I helped 32 very happy people this month.
That's it, right. Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's something we should start, Lisa. We'll call it the Novak index.
Yeah, I love that. But yeah, you'll never find me talking about GCI and stuff like that. I just think that should not be a measure of success. No, I don't agree.
All right, Lisa, it's been an awesome half hour. Let's just leave the listeners and the watchers with 3 tips that to get them started into spring. We think social media is the place they should focus, so let's keep it narrowed onto that. We've got 3 hot tips from Lisa Novak on how to get started today.
So just be consistent. Consistency is really hard with anything, like exercise, diet, anything at all. Be consistent. Start off with 10 minutes a day, but you've got to be doing it every single day. Mm-hmm. Right? That's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is do not worry about what other people think about anything that you're doing. Yeah. Right? Block out that noise. Because it's really, really important. You won't be able to move ahead, guys, if you're listening to someone actually came up to me before and said, someone who had left our agency and this is what I heard they were saying. I was like, I'm honestly not interested. So block out the noise. It'll make you a better person, and don't be too judgmental of yourself. Honestly, don't watch your videos if it makes you cringe. Because it's not about you, and this is not a beauty pageant. It is truly about helping others.
Yeah, and I think this is the amazing thing is that I go back even 15 years ago when I made my first news stories, when I was first on TV in Australia. I look at those, they're terrible. Like, my kids sit there and laugh. They're like, "Oh my God, Dad, look at you. You were a scared little boy." And I'm like, 100%. Like, that is 100% correct. You got to get your bad ones out of the way before the good ones come. And with every video you make, you'll get better and better and better. So you might as well start now. And don't worry about what anyone thinks.
And don't worry about it when anyone, it doesn't matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter if you've got the hair flying all over your face or, look, I mean, I've messed up a couple of times while we've been filming this. Who cares? Yeah. That's what we call being human.
Yeah, and I think sometimes those errors and those little things that happen. So, sometimes there'll be real estate agents, they'll be in a beautiful garden, there'll be a magpie making a big noise. And it sort of puts them off, and you can see them trying to ignore it and get frustrated. It's like, no. Embrace it. Acknowledge that you got a noisy magpie, and then it's done, and the viewer accepts that. They're cool with it. As long as you acknowledge it and move on, they just want to hear the value that you're going to deliver because they're interested in finding a solution to their problem. And that's what it's all about. And you do that in a human way.
Do your best. That's it. Just do your best.
Lisa, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute awesome chat again. I really appreciate your time, and I love watching you go from strength to strength to strength. Who knows where you're going to take it next, because you've revolutionised the industry, really. You're a leader. So
thank you. Well, I'm off to Auckland next week, so I'm excited about that. I'm going over twice, actually, to share some knowledge and hopefully help some people over there.
Yeah, I actually think you're going to be on stage with a friend of mine, Darren Prattley, who I introduced you to at the Hands Across the Water. So
awesome.
I got the inside goss on your diary.
No, I'm excited. But thank you as always, Jonathan. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you, and thank you for coming. Thanks for watching, guys. Lisa Novak.